What is up, guys? Welcome to the Computer Information Highway for your Java programming tutorial number 13. Quick update before I get started. I just wanted to let you know that I have switched my IDE, moving over to NetBeans now for class. My professor wants me to turn all of my assignments in as a NetBeans project, so I've decided to change my IDE. No worries, there are 100 guides on the internet telling you how you can find it, install it, and use it. So I'll go over some basic things whenever I'm going through it, and it'll be just like maybe some hotkeys that I use. So if you go and download NetBeans and start to use it, you can just follow along with the hotkeys that I use. I'll occasionally remind you guys. If you're using Eclipse or a different IDE, you may have different hotkeys, so just look them up. It makes programming a hell of a lot easier, so let's get started on this. In this tutorial, we're going to be doing some functions. So you guys probably don't know what a function is. A function is basically a set of code that you can execute as much as you want without having to write the same code over and over again. Now before, when you saw like a while loop, it would just execute that over and over and over again. The difference is that it's not being executed multiple times, and it's located outside of what you're working in. So if this is our main class, if this is our main function, this itself is a function. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own functions in this tutorial. So I'm going to start off with just a simple message to the screen. Alright, we're just going to print out what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. Alright, so if you guys don't know, this is a question, this is a famous question from a book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you haven't read it, it's an amazing book. I really recommend it. Go out and read it. Part of this is going to actually be completely based off of it. So just go with me on it. It'll start to make sense what I'm doing here in a second. So we're going to be printing this out to the screen, and we want to create a function that's going to compute the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to say public void the answer. Alright, so before I actually fill this in and start with the coding part of that, I'm going to tell you how this is laid out. Public, you don't really need to worry about right now. I'm going to explain that whenever I start going over like objects and stuff, so you'll learn more of that later on. Void basically means that nothing is going to be returned. Same thing here. You know how at the end of a program, or at the end of this, there's just sort of the bracket and it ends? Well, if you were to put like an integer in here, you could tell it to return like 1, and you can use this bit of code. You can call this function right here. You can call this function inside something, and it's going to completely return as an int. It's always going to be guaranteed that it will return as an int, because this is what you're telling the type to be. So this may still be a little bit confusing. If it is, don't worry, we're going to show you what it's actually going to do. First of all, I'm going to switch it back to void. Void basically means it is not returning anything. It doesn't need a return at the end, and return is just telling it that it's going to be returning a specific value. But we don't need it right now. So we're going to print out another function, or we're going to print out another line that just says 42. There we go. Alright, 42. So you're thinking, Alex, what's going on here? There's no way that I'm just going to be able to print this out and then print this out. It's not going to be that easy. Well, you're kind of right. So the first thing we need to do is we actually need to call this function so that we can use it. It's basically how we use it is by calling a function. This right here, print line, this is a function pulled out from the system.out class. Don't worry about that. I'll still explain all of that later. If I haven't already explained it. I know it's been a while. So we're just going to say the answer. Alright. Oh, my bad, guys. Static. Alright. Basically, you want it to be public static. This entire part is the part that I'm going to explain later on in the video. You just have to keep it the same as this. No worries. Won't be hard. Alright. So, the answer. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to start in this line right here. It's going to go here. First it's going to print out this right here, and then it's going to execute the function, the answer, which is going to make it jump down here. I don't know what I'm doing. Watch that. Alright. Let me take these out because I don't want it to break my program later. Alright. So it's going to start here. It's going to print out what is the answer to life, the universe, the everything. We've done this before. You've seen us print stuff out to the screen. Now we're creating this function that is going to print out 42. So let's see what happens if we run this. I'm going to show you guys this time, but I'm probably going to be using the hotkey later on. If you go up to run up here at the top and hit, is it run main project? Yeah, run main project. It's just going to run it here at the bottom. It's also F6, so I can hit F6 and it'll do the same thing. Now, down here, it's probably hard to see, but it says, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And then it prints out 42. Now that was a really, really hard program to compute. I don't know why it took the entire world in order to compute that. So, whatever, the period can be there, it doesn't actually matter. So, now I've shown you how you can just execute all the code inside of it, and how you can call the function, and a little bit about what like void is. But now I'm going to show you one of the other return types and how you can make it work. So we're going to make this int, and we're going to just make this return 42, right? So this is going to call this, and it's going to say what the answer is. Now, because we're not setting a variable to anything, it's not going to do it, or it's not going to print out 42. If we wanted to, we could go like this. Int answer equals the answer. So, because this is guaranteeing that you're going to be returning an int, and you see here that we are returning an integer, it's just any, like, I think it's positive and negative whole numbers. From like, I couldn't even tell you, 0 to 2.4 billion or something. So it's going to be returning this into an int, which means we can store it as the value for the answer, or for answer. So now, if we do system.out.println, we can say the answer is answer. Alright. So now what this program is going to do is it's going to throw through, it's going to ask, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? It's going to set it to the value answer, and then it's going to print out the answer is answer. And if we're lucky, and if we did this right, in the very rare chance that that's possible, it's going to print out the answer is 42. And I'll show you right now. So we're going to be using F6. Alright, here again, what is the answer to the life, the universe, the everything, and everything? The answer is 42. Alright, so there's a little bit more we can do with this, but I'm starting to run out of time, so I'm going to pick this up in the next video. Alright, peace guys.